Now let's discuss about the climax. So the climax of the story starts when Prince Prospero confronts the unusual guest and eventually dies. During the epic confrontation when the Red Death turns around to face Prince Prospero, his pursuit of the spectral figure leads to the story's peak point of suspense. During the ball that was held where everyone enjoys the lavishness and luxury of the party, there was a suspicious being that came. Everyone seems to be unfamiliar with him. The author describes when the prince confronted the Red Death as terrifying, as one of the servants of the prince went to run to the Red Death to kill it but was afraid to do that. That is why the prince did it by himself. And because it was stated that when the prince rushed hurriedly through the six chambers, none followed him on account of deadly terror. This implies how the people felt uneasy and suspicious what might the Red Death will do to them. The prince was also afraid, but he had to keep it to himself so that his guests would not see him frightened. And this is evident in lines. He was seen to be convulsed in the first moment with a strong shudder either of terror or distaste. But in the next, his brow reddened with rage. There is tension in the room where this happened. Everyone seemed to stop what they were doing and the unknown guests catch all their attention. These lines from the story have given emphasis to the Red Death where people seem to fear him as the description remarks with lines. His vestures was doubled in blood and his broad brow with all the features of the face was besprinkled with the scarlet horror. There is an imagery of blood and time which shows the existence of the nobles and how fast they will vanish later on. So the mysterious guest that arrives at the end of the party is the embodiment of the Red Death. He is dressed more chillingly and darkly than the others. His mask appears to be a face of the corpse and wears a garment resembling the funeral shroud. This signifies how he acquires the life of many people later on. He is something like kamatayan when we put it in a most common context where a lot of people terrify this kind of image or figure. His face has spots of blood that symbolizes that he has been the Red Death or the plague itself. The mysterious guest brings death for the people who shut their eyes on the miseries of other people and deny their own death. When he first raged the death, the prince, which is the prince, it implies his annoyance and arrogance, as the line said. Who dares, he demanded hoarsely of the courtiers who stood near him. Who dares insult us with his blasphemous mockery? Seize him and unmask him, that we may know whom we may have to hang at sunrise from the battlements. It is very evident how boastful he was, the prince, when he thought they could catch him or even himself can, but in the end, neither one of them couldn't stop the Red Death. In the line stated, fell prostrate in death Prince Prospero, when attempting to slay the Red Death, and the prince even chased him with a dagger, thus forever ending the prince's life. This line implies situational irony because instead that the prince must kill the Red Death, he is the one who has been killed. It has been said in the story how fast the plague can cause death. It wouldn't even take an hour to kill by this disease all over the people in the area. This is evident in lines and the whole disease of all people in the area, seizure, progress, and termination of disease were the incident of half an hour. This is the reason that the prince died, and due to the dark supernatural power of the Red Death. The true nature of disease is not mentioned in the story. Blood is mentioned in the avatar and seal of the Red Death. This statement carries a dual meaning. The blood can be taken in a literal sense if it can be a reference to the bloodliness. Blood was its avatar and its seal, where it gives the emphasis of horror blood, which is death. When we face death, our riches will not save us, nor anything can.